Hi, this is Ushio. This is Echo, and this is Friday. I'm not sure what the new day is going to bring. TJ gets up early in the morning, and I fall in and out of sleep as he moves around the room quietly. The shower turns on at some point, and I think I hear Jenna's voice. I fall asleep again, and when I wake up next, I see Jenna in the corner of the room, sitting at the little table and typing away on her laptop. I stare at her groggily until she notices me. Morning. You still tired? It's almost noon, dude. I rub my face into my pillow and groan. I guess I was up later than I thought. I forced myself to sit up. I couldn't fall asleep. Yeah, I've been having trouble too. The beds are terrible. I look around. Okay, so where's Tej? He's on a hike. What? He went on a hike? I sit there, frowning. She types a while until she finally notices me staring and shakes her head. I don't know, he wanted to go alone. He's been asking us to go with him all week. I know, I think something's bothering him. Jenna pauses. Well, I know it's a scavenger hunt. Of course that's what's bothering him. I sit on the edge of the bed, rubbing my face with my paws. This was a bad idea. Jenna goes on typing. Maybe, maybe not. He really wanted to do it. I'm gonna try to talk to him when he gets back though. I stare at my feet for a moment, deciding on whether or not to just text him now. Jenna, do you think there's something weird about the treasure hunt? Jenna doesn't even look up from the screen. Of course I do. I think everything about it's weird. I mean, I don't even know if Sydney put those there. Jenna finally looks up at me. Why not? Just everything seems off. Who do you think put them there then? I shrug. I dunno. Jenna stares at the computer screen for a while, not typing anymore. Well, the whole reason we're doing this is because of TJ. This seems to be what he wants to do. And even if it was somebody else that left them there, if it's going to help him, then I'm going to help him with it. Jenna shrugs. And in the end, all it is a treasure hunt. I'm just hoping that it ends at the house. Yeah. Jenna goes on typing, apparently done with the conversation, so I finally get up and go to the shower. Breakfast is long gone by the time I go to the lobby, and what's left is a few dry biscuits. So I opt to go to the diner instead, while Jenna opts to stay in the room to finish her paper. I sit in my usual booth in the corner of the diner, half-heartedly flipping through the menu. Janice comes over to take my order, and my short answers to her pleasantries keep her from being too chatty. Once I'm done ordering, I sit back and look out the window, watching the bright sun bake the hot desert below. I imagine TJ out there on the trail, trudging along the path under the 100+ degree heat. Aside from worrying about what he might be going through right now, I also worry that he might pass out in this kind of weather. I can only hope he had the right frame of mind to take along enough water and make sure to cool off like he did to me. I look down at my phone on the table, again considering whether or not I should call him. Maybe a text at least. Alright, let's text. Hey man. You could write a bit more, then I set my phone back down and wait for a response, wondering if I might drive out to the trail myself if he doesn't. That's when I sense someone moving up next to the table. I look up expecting to see Janice, but I'm met with the sight of a young white deer, his clasped paws holding a folded blue apron. Oh, this guy. I blank on his name for a few moments, and I'm left with my mouth hanging open like an idiot. And then I remember. Oh, Julian, right? What's up? Julian smiles. Hey there, my shift just ended and saw you sitting here. I wait, but he doesn't go on. Oh, I don't want to say it, but it looks like he's expecting it, and I can't really find a way out, so, do you want to sit down? Yeah, sure. Okay, Julian responds quickly, and slides in the booth across from me, setting his folded apron down on the table. Thanks, man. Yeah, no problem. I wonder if I sounded a little annoyed. A part of me hopes that I do, so that he might get the hint, like Janice did. But he goes on sitting there, interlocking his fingers and resting his forearms on the table. How are you today? Good. You? Julian shrugs. I've been better. The job's really starting to wear me out, you know? Yeah, I've had a few like that. While the bug seems nice enough, I don't think I've had more than 5 conversations with the guy in my entire life. He was just a regular face that I saw through middle and high school, a part of the background. It wasn't until the last few years of high school that I noticed him and TJ hanging out, and TJ was the only reason we ever briefly interacted. So I'm a bit confused now as to why he's suddenly taken an interest. Yeah, what sort of job do you got? Oh, I'm between jobs right now. I'm going to school, but I'll probably stock shelves over the summer like I did last year. So the job wore you out? Well, no, but my fast food job did, the one I had in high school. I kind of like stacking boxes and putting stuff on shelves. See, I think food service jobs are definitely the worst, so I can see why stocking might be a little bit better. He breaks off as Janice comes back, setting down my chicken sandwich. Oh, you know Chase, Julian? A little bit, through TJ. Oh well, if you see that boy again, let him know that I'd like to chat with him. I look up and Janice gives me a wink before bustling off. I am petrified of that woman. I decide to definitely not let TJ know. But anyway, I'm going to school too, over at Mesa, and this diner has some seriously flexible hours, the only reason why I'm still here. At least you guys don't seem very busy, even during lunch hour. I nod at the 2 or 3 other occupied tables. Yeah, it's a wonder we're still in business. Probably gonna have to close down in a year or two. That idea actually makes me a little sad. I look down at my chicken sandwich, feeling a bit awkward at the idea of Julian just watching me eat, so I leave it on the plate for now. Julian leans back and looks out the window. So, where's TJ at? I thought you two were hanging out. I get the feeling that this is the main reason why Julian's talking to me. Yeah, he went off on a hike earlier this morning. I slept in. Oh, I see. He still do that a lot. I shrug. I don't know, we've only been here for about a week. He does love going on hikes though. I mean, does he do that at the CCU? I stare at Julian for a second before I realise what he's talking about. Oh no, I didn't go to CCU. I'm at Pueblo. Oh, so you guys met up here? Well, I picked him up and brought him here, along with Jenna, but she goes to Pueblo too. I grow a little frustrated at having to explain everything to this guy. All I want to do is eat, and then go back to the motel and wait for TJ. I see, well, TJ was my best friend during senior year after you and Cole left. We hung out all the time. After he left for college, we kinda lost touch. Oh, yeah, he's not very active on social media. I'd only seen TJ post a few pictures since he started classes. A few were of him on the college soccer team, and one was of him standing in a prayer circle along with an inspirational quote. But Julian revealing that he was TJ's best friend till the end of high school caused my exasperation. I suppose he does have a reason to know what TJ might be up to. He was kinda depressed right after graduation, so I've been a little worried about him. Depressed? That surprised me. I've never known TJ to be depressed. Sure, he'd been sad before, but not outright depressed, as far as I know. Maybe I don't know that much about him. I thought it might have to do with graduation, but it went on all summer. Oh, well, if you want to talk to him, I can definitely let him know. I gesture at my phone on my table. I also make a mental note to myself that I should talk to TJ too about, well, everything. Julian smiles. That'd be great, please do. I think he must have changed his number after leaving. Okay. I hesitate and then pick up the phone to type out the brief message. Okay, let's send another message. I just met Julian at the diner. He'd like to talk to you. Smiley face. TJ hasn't texted me back yet though. How long have you known him? I set the phone back down and settle back onto the booth. Since he got here in like 2001, so 14 years ago. Wow, that's a long time. Yeah, it really is. You guys always been good friends? For the most part, I had times where I was kind of a dick to him, but he's always been a good friend to me. I see, yeah. We went to the same elementary school, but it wasn't until junior high that I met him in Bible study. Ah, of course. I always knew about you guys though, the Echo kids. Yeah, that was us, the weirdos. Julian glances around before lowering his voice. It was a mean thing to say, but the town is kinda messed up. Lots of weird things happened here. I can't argue with that. Julian looks around again, biting his lip. Then he lowers his voice another notch. Hey, so this is gonna be a bit weird, and I don't want to offend you, but it's something that's bothered me for a while. I eye Julian warily. Yeah? TJ told me what happened at Lake Emma a while back when we were talking about death and heaven. I feel a little chill go up my spine. Well, he never actually told me about what exactly happened, but I can tell it really affects him. Julian pauses, but I don't say anything, keeping my eyes fixed on the table. No, you don't have to tell me, and if it makes you uncomfortable, please don't. But I feel like if I have a better idea of what happened, I might understand him a little bit better. Julian brings his interlocked fingers up to his chin to rest it on. I'm not going to ask him to tell me, of course. I know it was a long time ago, but I know you can carry stuff like that around for a long time. So if you're not okay with it, please just let me know and I'll change the subject. I contemplate it for a moment, wondering if the buck is out of line to be asking about such a thing. I decide that he isn't. He's one of TJ's best friends, so in a way he's sort of connected to it. So I guess he does have a reason to know. Okay, but please don't bring this up with TJ. Like you said, it still really affects him. Never. Julian looks at me solemnly. I think for a moment, gathering my thoughts. It's been a long time since I thought of the story from beginning to end. It was around August, I think, 2003. It's a little bit hard to remember. What I do remember is that we'd all gone down to the lake to swim, like we did almost every week. There's this little spot where the beach kind of curves in, and it's mostly sand and shallow water, and that's where we'd usually hang out and swim. Even though the water was always sort of stagnant there, it was at least safe and warm compared to the rest of the lake. I think at some point one of us wanted to go and skip rocks. We had to go further up the shore to do that, and TJ was more interested in building sandcastles, so he stayed behind while the rest of us went up to the beach to find the rocks. And when you go up that far, you can't really see that spot anymore, so I'm not completely sure what happened. I vaguely remember looking back at TJ as we went up the beach. The lynx bending over his castle, the back of his wet swim trunks covered in sand from when he sat down. Sydney went with us, at least I remember that, but when we were skipping rocks, he just sort of disappeared. I glanced up at Julian for a moment and see him listening attentively before I looked back down at the table. Anyway, we heard some splashing and some shouting from TJ, and we all ran up to the beach to see Sydney floating out in the lake. I swam out there and got him. Too late though. I don't mention the part where TJ was crouched in 3 feet of water staring at Sydney's body floating 20 feet away from him. I don't tell him that TJ's explanation for what happened always amounted to Sydney stepping out too far into the water. That maybe the current knocked him off his balance and pulled him in. How he'd even said that it almost looked like an invisible shark had grabbed Sid and pulled him out. How none of it makes any sense at all. None of us are sure what happened. It seems to be enough for Julian though, and he shakes his head. I'm very, very sorry to hear that, but thank you for telling me. All I knew is that a friend of his drowned in the lake. He didn't tell me how close he was to it. It makes sense why that would still deeply affect him. No problem. I realise that Julian is probably the first person that I've ever told the story to outside of Echo. I also realise that it wasn't at all hard to do. I suppose it's easier to tell someone who wasn't related to the incident, someone that had no connection to the raw horror of the day. That, and a lot of time has passed. Maybe I just got over it without even knowing. But yeah, Echo's a crazy place. You know about the mass hysteria thing that happened 100 years ago? This place is kind of famous for that. Almost all of the paranormal podcasts I listen to have an episode on it. My heart skips a beat as I suddenly remember my project. I cover my face with my paws. Ah, shit. What's wrong? Did I say something? I uncover my face to see Julian looking at me with some concern. No, I just forgot some schoolwork that I need to get done. It's the project. The excitement around the scavenger hunt completely wiped the thought of it from my mind. Oh, what kind of project was that? A news report on Echo and the mass hysteria incident. I've barely done anything on it since I first got here. Oh, that's cool. Do you want a hand? I blink, the buck's eagerness surprising me. For the first time, I see him become embarrassed, the skin on the inside of his ears turning a dark red. Sorry, it's something that's always interested me, so I got a little excited, you know. I glance down at my phone and see that I still haven't got a response from TJ, so I've got an idea. Despite my initial annoyance, I like how considerate Julian was about the whole lake incident. I also want to give him a chance to see TJ before the end of the trip. Well, actually, I've been meaning to get some footage of the mine, or at least the opening since it's sealed up. If you want, we can head up there to get some shots and at the same time look for TJ. The trail's in that area. Julian perks up. Hey, that would be really awesome, thanks. Do you want to eat that first though? I look down at my sandwich and shake my head. I'll just eat it on the way to the motel. Oh, I've got my truck, I can drive you over, and there's a bunch of room if you need it for equipment. Okay, yeah, thanks. Just let me get a to-go box and then we can go. Okay, we got a plan. 20 minutes later, and we're heading up the narrow canyon road toward the mine. I haven't been there in years, but the dirt road leads straight to it, so I don't even have to look up instructions. Julian chats away while I eat my lukewarm sandwich out of a foam to-go box. While there's an almost robotic quality to the buck with how articulate he is, he's also really nice. I could certainly see why TJ would call him a friend. The bumpy road curves upward, and finally we get to the mine. There's a wide open dirt space for parking, along with some concrete barriers along the edge of the drop-off. There's a few signposts, probably giving a brief history on the mine, and then there's TJ. The Lynx is sitting at the opening of the mine, right at the entrance. He's leaning back against the rebar grid that sealed the entrance. What? Julian stops talking and looks over at me, then in the direction that I'm looking. Whoa, is that Tej? I don't say anything because I realise how limp the Lynx looks, head tipped back, his paws limply laying on the ground. I'm out of the truck before Julian can even park, my to-go box spilling out onto the gravel as I jog towards TJ. TJ, what's wrong? You okay? The Lynx doesn't respond, and when I get to him, I see that his eyes are open, but they're rolled back to the point where I can see only white. I bend over him, trying to help him sit up better, made more difficult by his bulky backpack getting in the way. As I'm doing this, I feel a rush of cold air from the mine, blowing out through the rebar. I ignore it at first, focusing on trying to get TJ to respond to me, but then I realise there's a hissing sound to go with it, like someone exhaling. I glance up through the grid, but I don't see anything. Still, I get the unnerving feeling that the opening is breathing somehow. Is he okay? Julian shouting and running up next to me turns my attention back to TJ. I look down at the Lynx and see his ears twitching around. What? I crouch down next to him, putting a paw behind his head to give him some support. TJ, what happened? Are you okay? TJ turns to me, blinking in confusion. Okay? What's wrong? He rubs at his eyes with the back of his paw before adjusting himself so he can sit up straight. You were just sitting there. You looked almost, Julian pauses. You look like you were passed out or something. TJ finally seems to focus on us, the dazed look in his eyes disappearing. Passed out? Oh no, I was just taking a quick nap, yeah. TJ lets out a short laugh and leans his head back against his backpack. What? Here? I look back at the sealed mine, the ominous blackness still seeming to yawn open at us. Why? Well, it's hotter than usual today, so I started to feel like I was going to pass out. I thought that might be a bad sign, so I decided to rest when I got here. You came here on purpose? Yeah, I saw the canyon with you last time, so I decided to take a trip to the mine this time. TJ smiles lazily up at me as he continues to lounge against his backpack. Sorry, I worried you and... Oh, Julian! TJ seems to suddenly realise that the stag's here. What are you doing here? TJ quickly gets to his feet, sliding his arms out of the straps of his backpack. He hugs Julian, the stag hugging back, just as enthusiastically. TJ doesn't even greet me so intimately. I guess they got more of a history than what I thought. Hey, Tej. Yeah, I met Chase at the diner. You weren't answering your texts, so we both decided to come up and find you. That and Chase needs to get some footage for his project. Oh, cool. Do you want help with that, Chase? TJ turns to me with a grin. I don't know what it is, but TJ's acting a lot more chipper than he was yesterday. That almost dark broodiness is gone, replaced by his usual cheer. I have to smile because of it, despite the situation just a few minutes ago. Yeah, this guy was laid out. What was going on? Sure. Another breeze of cool air seems to whoosh slowly through the rebar. I look back at it. TJ, why the hell would you sleep here, next to the creepy mine? TJ frowns. It was cool, okay? Like, cold? I was laying in the open, and I felt some cool air blow out, and so I decided to lean against it. It feels really nice. TJ walks up to the metal grid and spreads his arms out, clutching onto the bars as he presses his face against it. Yeah. He leans his head back, putting a face. Well, it smells really musty, but it does feel good. I look back at the opening. The blackness inside sends chills up my spine. I think back to when a body was found in there over 100 years ago. Even though I know there aren't any dead bodies in there now, it still creeps me the fuck out. I try to hide my shudder as I turn away, looking back at the truck. Hey, so are we going to Sydney's old house now? Is that why you guys came to find me? TJ's trying to hide it, but I can hear the eagerness in his voice. I turn back to look at him, the Lynx now with his back to the mine, pressed up against it. I wanted him to move away from the opening, but I wouldn't be able to explain to him why. Well, let me get some filming done first. I can do the voiceover later, so it'll be quick. I hold back a wince as I realise how much time it's also going to take. My project's going to be shit at this point, can't avoid that now. I just need to make it the least shit I can. Oh, yeah, sorry. TJ laughs nervously and then looks away. Sorry, I'm just a little loopy from my nap. You guys really surprised me. It's okay. I'm gonna go get my equipment really quick, okay? TJ nods at me, and I jog off to the parked truck next to grab my camera. So TJ might still be acting a little weird, but I'm just glad he seems happy again. Seeing him the way he was last night was, it was a little unnerving to say the least. I scoop up my camera bag from the bed of the truck and head back, slowing down to a walk as the heat is starting to catch up with me. How TJ was able to go on a several hour-long hike is absurd to me. It almost seems foolish, especially for someone like TJ who knows about how dangerous that can be. When I get back to the mine entrance, I see Julian and TJ sitting with their backs to either side of the opening, chatting with each other. They're eating granola bars, and TJ holds out one to me as I approach. Thanks. Hey, TJ. What? TJ looks up at me innocently. If you go on a hike again, be sure to bring me next time, okay? I don't think you should be out alone here. Oh, yeah, sure. His ears droop a little, a small frown on his face. I just don't want you to get hurt, you know? It's really hot today, and it would have been really terrible if you passed out alone. Yeah, sorry. I drop my bag gently on the ground, before leaning back against the wall next to the links. It's all good. I just want to make sure you're okay. Yeah, thanks. I just didn't want to wake you up this morning. Jenna offered to go with you, didn't she? TJ sighs quietly, looking away into the mine. Yeah, but I can tell you guys don't want to go. I just don't want to ruin the trip for you more than I already have. What? TJ, what are you talking about? TJ goes quiet and then just shrugs his shoulders. Maybe he isn't back to his old self after all. I wouldn't mind going with you, TJ. I love hiking. Julian smiles gently at the links. For some reason, I feel a tiny tug of annoyance in my chest. It's stupid, but I was the one who offered first, and I'm the one that took TJ out for the first time. Yeah, we could both go. The point is, you don't go out alone, okay? Yeah, okay. Thanks, guys. No problem. A short silence stretches out between the three of us before Julian speaks up again. We were just talking about our old Bible study group. TJ leans his head back against the wall, rolling his eyes. It's an expression I don't see from him very often. What about it? Oh, just the way that TJ would always take it so seriously, and nobody else would, you know? TJ shakes his head in exasperation. Yeah, I never had any control in that club. Oh really? Were you in charge? It's a little odd to think of TJ in a leadership position like that. I just never knew him to put himself out there in high school. Yeah, I revived it after it sort of went defunct for a few years. Wasn't all that popular. TJ smiles with some embarrassment. Yeah, we had like 3 other members, not including you or me. Yeah, then one dropped out after like 2 meetings. Julian clicks his tongue. What a godless school we went to. Hey, you know I'm kidding, mostly. Well, I did want atheists to join too, as long as they weren't disruptive. I just wanted to show everyone what a nice experience it could be, even if you didn't believe. I very vaguely remember TJ inviting me to the club and me saying that I'd think about it. I never went, of course. It wasn't all that spiritual in the end though. Yeah, mostly we just talked and brought snacks. It took TJ a while to realise that no one wanted another Sunday school session at actual school. Yeah, hours of planning, out the window. It was still a great time. I think the 4 of us were happier for it. Yeah, I guess. TJ seems to suddenly notice me. Oh, sorry Chase, you wouldn't know much about this stuff. It's okay, it's interesting to hear about. Again, I get that little twinge of jealousy, even though I know it's not fair. I'd chosen not to show up, probably using that time to go home and hang out with Leo. He didn't miss much, just discussions about movies and watching movies too. Oh wow, they couldn't even be religiously themed. Thank God. Hey, I laugh out loud at how indignant TJ is. Well, I'm glad you had a good time at least. I came away thinking the whole thing was a failure. I think I remember you mentioning that you wished your friend here would have shown up. Oh, I don't really remember that. Of course you do, you said it all the time. TJ's ears flatten and turn red. Who, me? Yep. Julian grins as TJ tries to look away. Well, the situation's kinda funny, now I feel even worse about not ever showing up. Oh, sorry Tej, you know, it was high school and all. Yeah, I understand, don't worry about it. So, did you start another club at your new school? TJ smirks. It's a Christian school, so there's like 50 clubs about religion. Oh, are you a member of any of them? A few. Which ones? Singles club. Singles? As in, finding a date. Sure. He looks away again. It's hilarious how bashful he is about this stuff. He's in college. All of this should be natural to talk about, but not with TJ. You meet anyone? Hey, Chase, don't you have to film some stuff? He looks back at me with a frown. Whoa, just asking. Julian chuckles quietly. I bend down and start putting up my equipment, deciding that a few long shots with the tripod should be enough. As I'm extending out the legs, Julian asks TJ about the hike. Was it fun? TJ shrugs, finishing the last of his granola bar and brushing his paws together to get rid of the crumbs. It was okay, kinda quiet. I wince as one of my pads gets pinched between metal. Kinda creepy, to be honest. I'd like it if you two went along sometime, if I do it again. Of course. Yeah, definitely. Over the next 20 minutes, I set up the camera in 3 different spots, getting about 1 minute of film for each. TJ and Julian sit in the truck while I do, and whenever I glance at them, they seem to be animatedly chatting and laughing. Once I'm done, I sigh and quickly snap the legs back down into the bag along with the camera. I see my to-go box in the dirt and consider picking it up, but I don't. I drop the bag into the truck again before hopping into the passenger seat, leaving TJ to sit between the two of us. They go quiet as we start putting out of the dirt road. Off we go. What are you guys talking about? Not much, just about high school. TJ nods. Again, I'm starting to feel a little left out between these two. I'm kind of like a third wheel. So, what's the plan? Well, we thought we'd go to the house now, after we pick up Jenna and Cole. Okay. We drive in silence a little while, and for some reason, I start to wish that I was sitting in the middle. The way Julian keeps turning the wheel forces his elbow to brush up against TJ's side, and I force myself to look away, wondering what the fuck I'm thinking. I'm treating TJ like he's something that belongs to me. We've only hung out recently over the course of this week. I've barely talked to him for the past 2 years. I force myself to look ahead, out the windshield. Then TJ's phone buzzes, and my eyes naturally go to the screen as the Lynx whips it out. I see the name Flynn, and then the message underneath it. I only have time to see a few words. You know, his fucking tell me. TJ jerks his phone down, and I look away just as I feel the Lynx's eyes on my face. I wonder if he saw me looking. I'm sure he did. It doesn't really matter now, because now I'm wondering what the fuck Flynn thinks he's doing. They've been staying away from each other the past few days, obviously, but I guess Flynn found another way to get to TJ. What the fuck does he think he's doing? I feel myself getting angry. I don't exactly know what the lizard's saying to TJ, but judging by what I saw, it's definitely not good. I make a mental note to ask TJ about it tonight. If he won't tell me, then I'll let Leo know. He'll do something about it. We all walk up the sidewalk to the old ranch-style house. It's been a long time since I've seen this place. Even longer since I've walked on this path. Sydney's house is up the gravel road beyond the forest. It's a bit of an odd spot, secluded from the rest of the town. All the better for us, I guess. It's nice to not be reminded of what happened. Guys, I don't know about this. You think he's just gonna let us in? What else can we do? Maybe Sydney didn't mean his room? Where else would he sleep? I don't know. I mean, he'd nap in random places, if I remember right, like he slept on my couch even. Stop it, Chase. You know that's not what he meant. Well, who knows? I do. I know where it is. That dark edge to TJ's voice is creeping in again. I suppose there's no harm in asking, right? Yeah, Julian's tagged along for this. You can't deny it's a little weird for 5 young adults to just show up on your doorstep asking to be let in. We don't have much of a choice though, do we? TJ's walking ahead of all of us, marching up to the concrete steps without hesitation before immediately ringing the bell. Damn, wait. We didn't even think of what we're gonna say. I already know what I'm gonna say. We stand there in stunned silence for a bit, and I look around at the others. Cole looks completely uncomfortable, almost nauseous, his paws shoved deep into his pockets as he stares hard at the ground. Jenna's staring at TJ, her brow furrowed, clearly worried. Julian just stands there, as if the situation doesn't bother him at all. The door finally opens, revealing a young red panda, not much older than ourselves. He blinks at us, and then fixes a smile onto his face. Hello? Can I help you? I see TJ's ears flatten down for a moment, his originally tough resolve clearly faltering. Hello? The red panda stares down at TJ for a moment, waiting expectantly. I don't recognise him, and I'm sure I would have seen him around town if he moved in after Sydney's parents moved out. It must have been some time recently, a few years ago. I decide then that I should step in to let TJ try and gather his wits. Hey, I'm Chase, this is TJ, Cole, Jenna and Julian. I point to everyone, feeling my cheeks grow hot. Oh, hey everyone, I'm Ingy. Another moment of awkward silence before I try to think of something else to say. How the hell do you bring up wanting to search someone's house because it belonged to your dead friend? As I'm trying to figure it out, TJ speaks up again. Our friend used to live here about 12 years ago. Oh, really? The panda seems to think. Are you talking about Cindy? Sydney. Yeah, he was our friend. Oh, sorry, I couldn't remember the name. I think his aunt told me about what happened. Yeah, and he left something behind for us in his room. Can we check and come look for it? Inji's originally inquisitive tone is replaced by one of confusion and definitely a little bit of suspicion. All of you? I noticed Cole still staring down hard at the floor, his paws twisting in his pockets. If it's okay with you. Inji stares at us for a good 10 seconds, causing even me to glance down at the floor, realising how stupid all of this is. Finally, he starts to step back, closing the door a little bit as he does. Sorry. I don't think that's a good idea. Wait. TJ steps forward, his fur bristling. The panda jumps a little, closing the door further, until it's to the point where I can only see one of his eyes. Sorry, it's just, maybe I could come inside and the rest of my friends can wait outside. This'll be really quick. I know exactly where to look. The panda's one eye looks back at us. TJ turns around and makes a shooing gesture with both paws. There's a pause, then we stumble back a little, down the steps onto the sidewalk. My face burns again in embarrassment, realising what a bunch of crazy people we look like right now. I look back and see TJ standing alone on the porch, looking back at the panda, his paws clasped together. Again, what feels like a very long silence seems to drag on until, Inji opens the door slightly. You know what? Why don't you just tell me where it is and I'll have a look? Oh, yeah. TJ seems surprised, as if only now considering that idea. It's the room on the left down the hallway. TJ points at the door at an angle. In the closet in the back corner. Might be in a box. Inji's facial expression mirrors mine as I frown. A box in a closet sitting there for over a decade. Okay, I'll have a look. Inji disappears behind the door and I hear a deadbolt slide into place. We stand there in silence for a while before Cole breaks it. Dude, he's calling the police. No, he's not. We look like a bunch of crazy people. We should leave. Not until he comes back out. I think I'm going to be sick. I think it's technically okay unless he tells us to leave. He did say he's going to look for it. No harm in just waiting for his answer. I see Cole scuff his hooves against the pavement, looking around nervously. I wonder if he's had too much weed or something. Why do you think it's in the closet? He used a shoebox in there as a spot for his treasure hunts before, you remember? I vaguely do, now that he mentions it, but I'm surprised that TJ does. He was even younger. The door opens and Inji comes back out. His facial expression is completely different now. It's one of amazement and disbelief, but it's what's in his paws that catches my attention. It's a teal-coloured shoebox, old and worn, and torn through the corners. My mouth drops. Inji stands there for a moment, holding the box out. Is this it? It's not mine. There's a piece of paper inside. TJ's paws shake as he reaches out to take the box, lifting the lid to look inside. It was in the spot that you said. I've never seen it before. I feel my stomach twist, more dismayed than anything that he found something. Do you not use that closet? It's a bit of an odd question, but I want to know how the hell he might have missed it. Inji shakes his head. No, not really. It's mostly a storage room right now. I think I've opened it a few times to put some boxes on the shelf, but I can't really remember. Did you not look inside when you first moved in? Inji looks at me and so does TJ over his shoulder. I guess now I'm sounding like a crazy person. Well, I can't really remember. It was a couple years ago. I had family help me move them in, so maybe they thought it was mine if they saw it. I want to ask more, but I bite my lip, not wanting to seem as frustrated and suspicious as I am. It's definitely something I could have missed. I found a few things in the crawl space from the last family. Who lived here before you, if you don't mind me asking? Inji leans against the doorway, his arms folded, looking a lot more relaxed now. It was the family you were talking about, I think, the Bronsons. Yeah. TJ still looking down at the box, having not taken out the note. Yeah, the woman who lived here moved out right after what happened, but then her sister moved in. She told me about what happened when I bought the place. Inji looks down at the box that TJ's still holding. Do you know what he left you? How did you know to find it? It's an old scavenger hunt that we found. It told us to come here. Like something he left behind? Yeah. Wow, well, I'm sorry about what happened to your friend. You must have been children at the time, right? No one says anything, so I nod for him. I'm sorry. Also sorry for being so suspicious when you guys showed up. I thought I caught someone trying to break in a few days back. Can't be too careful. If someone did break in and planted this box, this is also an option. I'm suspicious as everything right now. Don't worry about it. It's completely understandable. Ingy nods and then shifts around. I don't want to pry her, but what does it say? I didn't read it since I don't want to intrude or anything. Oh, TJ lifts the lid again and then reaches in to pull out the piece of paper. It's identical to the others that we've seen. Ingy takes the box from the links so he can use both paws to unfold the note. And then he starts to read. I hope that you're all having fun. Soon you'll know what Chase has done. Figure it out, it's a piece of cake. If you can't, look by Cole's drawing at the lake. It goes quiet for a while. The only sound is the wind rustling through the trees. And then I hear a gagging sound and look back just in time to see Cole hurling into some bushes. TJ is strangely calm as we sit in the motel room. I am creeped out. It's been about half an hour since we found the last note. After Cole lost his lunch in the bushes, Julian drove him back home and we had to put the scavenger hunt on hold. TJ wants all of us to be there for it. Julian is still with us and I keep wondering when the hell he's going to go home. He's just joined our little group today and TJ acts like he needs to be part of this for some reason. He barely even knew Sydney. But doesn't matter. This whole thing's ridiculous. It's so obvious that Sydney had nothing to do with this scavenger hunt. Someone's planting these damn notes and they have it out for me. I sit with my back against the headboard of the bed, staring at my legs as TJ tries to defend this whole thing. If it's really bothering you, Chase, then you don't have to come. I bristle a bit. You're insisting everybody else go, so why not me? I force myself not to look over at Julian. I do want you to come, but you're so angry. I've never seen you like this. Oh, I have. We all have. Chase is just acting like his old self now. Jenna sits in the corner on her laptop as usual, smirking. It pisses me the fuck off. Listen, whoever's writing these has it out for me. Look at what the last one said. Sydney wrote them, and he always kinda teased you. It's just like him. I go quiet, looking away with a glare. What do you think the clues are implying about you, Jace? I think for a moment, but it's hard with all the anger that keeps threatening to bubble to the surface. I don't know. I just don't like the sound of it, and honestly, I try to think of the right way to word what I'm gonna say. If you respect me, you'd see that and stop this stupid hunt. It goes quiet for a moment, and Julian stands up. Hey, I'm gonna head out. Let me know what you guys decide to do tomorrow. I've got the whole day off. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks so much for coming with us. TJ gives the stag a side hug, and I try to keep myself from bristling. Once Julian leaves out the door, TJ sits on the foot of the bed, looking at me. I completely respect you, Chase, but I really think these are from Sydney. He's just teasing you. I don't say anything, looking to look at the wall, feeling more unnerved by my own emotions than anything else. I don't feel like myself at all. I know I asked you this morning, but if you think this is someone else's doing, who could it be? Jenna crosses her arms, looking at me earnestly. I sit there quietly for a moment, debating on whether or not I should tell him. I decide I have to, since neither of the others seem to see it. I think it's Flynn. What? I think it's Flynn and Cole. They're doing the whole thing. You can't be serious. Who else? Cole's the one that found the first note. I think Flynn gave it to him. The looks on Jenna and TJ's face makes me look away again. Am I going crazy? Chase, that's crazy, I know, but you saw how Cole was acting today, how nervous he was. He even threw up. Cole does that sometimes? I slide my legs off the bed and let them hang over the side, fully facing the wall now. I know how Flynn was back at the river, but even he wouldn't do that. I look back at TJ with a glare. What about the text he's sending you? What? TJ's paw flies into his pocket, a shocked look on his face. Jenna looks between us. What's this? Flynn sent TJ a text swearing at him. I think he's been messaging you the whole time. TJ's quiet, just staring at me. TJ, is this true? TJ stares at the floor for a moment before finally looking up, his voice oddly calm. Yeah, well, he's angry. Of course he would be. But he's got no reason to be writing the scavenger hunt. Flynn would never do that. Are you sure about that? TJ glares back at me, and now I can tell I've made him angry. Yes. Why would he do it in the first place? I don't have to think hard on that one. To hurt TJ, to ruin our friendship by making up lies about me, and being a complete dick. Take your pick. That's absolutely ridiculous. I don't say anything, choosing to glare at the wall. Jenna looks between us again and shakes her head. Okay, enough of this. Neither of you are acting like yourselves, so I think it's best we head to the bed, okay? Whatever. I slide into the bed on my side, still staring at the wall, listening as TJ gets up and goes into the bathroom. Jenna goes on typing on her computer. I lay there quietly, deciding that I'm going to have to do something to stop this. What are we going to do? Sneaking out of the motel room is probably the hardest part. I know that if they catch me at any point, it's over. At about 3 a.m, I slide out of the bed, listening to TJ's snores and watching Jenna's unmoving form curled up on the bed in front of me. Quietly, I dig around in my bag for my keys and then slip out the door into the night. This is a bad idea. I grip my teeth as my car starts up, imagining TJ or Jenna pulling back the curtains to see me sitting in the car. I've got excuses. I'm sick, I had to drive to the emergency room, or even that I just couldn't sleep and wanted to get a snack somewhere. They're all suspicious, but should be enough to cover my ass if things go south. I drive along the quiet road, my surroundings almost black since the moon has set. It takes me a moment to find the side road that will take me to the shore. Once I do, I see one lonely orange light glaring in the middle of the parking lot. I park away from it at the edge of the lot. It's dark here. I sit in the car for a while, wondering what I'm doing, wondering what the fuck I'm gonna do. Something drives me, a feeling that if I don't do this, then the rest of my life is gonna be ruined. I can't let that happen. I open the door and quickly get out. I put out my phone and turn on the light, finding the small dirt trail that leads out into the inky blackness. The air is cool and I can smell the lake. Pretty soon I can hear it too, the soft, desolate sounds of the waves running against the thin strip of shore. It's peaceful, but at the same time it terrifies me, and for a moment I feel that the lake is one giant living thing. It dwarfs me with its presence, a giant all-knowing thing. It knows I'm here. I shudder and force myself to continue. I find the shoreline and the dry sand shifts under my feet as I take a right and follow the shore. I try to ignore the sounds of the lake, the feeling that it's watching me, beckoning me towards it. Finally, I come across the boulder that I'm looking for, the one that Cole used to carve his drawings onto. Of course it would be something Cole used. That fat piece of shit. I kneel down beside it, moving the light of my phone around until I find the drawings. I look at the super wolf etched into the rock, glaring, and then I see a glint of light above it. I shift the phone light up to see what it is. I gasp, and I can't help a ragged scream from escaping my throat. Tarantula sits there, staring back at me, its cluster of eyes shining back in the darkness. I stumble back in the sand and fall, sitting down hard and causing my teeth to clack together. I scramble back up. I look around for a rock and quickly find one. When I turn back around and lift the light, the spider's gone. I look around for a while, in case it just moved around, maybe on the ground closer to me. I don't see anything though, and I throw the rock at the lake, cursing the damn thing. And then I kneel down and look at the spot between the rocky ground and the boulder. It takes a few moments, and I have to get real close, looking deeper into the crevice, and then there's a glint of what looks like metal. I start to dig, first with my bare hands, and then with the help of a flat rock laying nearby. I'm sweating and gasping by the time I pull the thing free. It looks like an old lunchbox. I shine the light on it and can barely make out what looks like a cartoon dragon. I open it and pull out the note. So we have gone rogue, we have gone solo, and we've gone and found the next scavenger hunt piece on our own because we suspect it's been planted in advance. Okay, let's pull out the note. I read it. In a fit of rage, I tear the stupid thing in half, throwing it onto the ground. You fucker. I hiss it out through my teeth and then pull out the piece of paper that I'd taken out of one of Jenna's notebooks along with a pen. I write for a moment, using the old lunchbox as a flat surface, and when I'm done, I'll drop it into the box, then wedge the box into the crevice, covering it up with the loose dirt I'd moved. So we've torn out the actual clue, and we've put in our own fake one. I pack it down and stand back up. Thinking twice, I pick up the shredded note and stuff it into my pocket. Then I walk back up the shore and up the trail, ignoring what looks like the eyeshine of tarantulas all around me. Maybe it's just the stars. I don't remember much of the drive back, or the parking lot of the motel. The next thing I know, I'm standing next to the bed, glaring down at TJ watching him sleep. Don't be a creeper, dude. Oh man. But I think that'll do for this gameplay. We'll find out more in the next episode. This is Usho signing off, and hopefully I will see you next time.